Have you ever wondered why some people become millionaires, grow their businesses and change their lives, while you sit there mindlessly scrolling through social media, asking the question, when is it my turn? It's because they have two things that every high achiever has that you don't. But when you master them in a few easy steps, your levels of productivity, drive and focus will surge to help you increase your earning potential. The problem is we've been bombarded with outdated time management and productivity hacks. We're still using an old framework that fails to factor in this basic truth. A goal is as useless as the paper it's written on if you don't have the energy and focus to pursue it. Think about it. How often have you put off major projects because you simply didn't have the energy to focus on them? If you're like most people, you only have enough energy to get through the day, let alone tackle something that could change your life. You need a new approach to success that's been updated for the modern world. The Goldilocks Zone for focus that I'm about to share with you was developed after surveying over 70,000 leaders and entrepreneurs for my book Unstoppable, to uncover both biological and psychological factors that empower a person to focus in ways they've never been able to before. The great news is you can take the free quiz below to get personalized recommendations on what you must work on right now to help you finish this year strong. But first, you must understand that to achieve superhuman focus, you must learn what it is, warning signs that you're off track, and how to train your brain to enter a state of flow where the entire world is tuned out while you're tuned in to what's important. That's why we need to think of focus like a faucet. You can turn it on or off, you can make the stream strong or weak, you can make it hot or cold. But most people don't realize what turns the water off at the mains and how to adjust their intensity when they're focusing on a project. This is why we take the Goldilocks approach. To be highly productive and get the financial, personal and professional results you want, all of the elements need to come into play. Imagine a time in your past where you were focused. You were neither overstimulated or understimulated. It was just right. It's because you both had the right amount of energy and you were able to funnel that energy into your work. Now, think about a time when you were unproductive. If you are overstimulated, you're experiencing heightened levels of anxiety, frustration, or overwhelm. But if you are understimulated, you may have experienced a loss of drive and motivation due to burnout or a lack of interest. The problem is, most people try to apply willpower to enter a state of flow. This is a losing strategy because it requires a tremendous amount of energy, which will lead you to being understimulated in the following hours or days, which means you'll lose all momentum on all of the great work that you've been doing. But there are levers that you can pull to maintain consistent performance. These levers are psychology and biology. Consider this. You down a strong cup of coffee. Your energy and focus begins to increase, but when it really kicks in, you overshoot the Goldilocks zone of focus and become anxious and scattered. As you begin to crash, you may re-enter it briefly on the way down, but then you drop too far and become ineffective. This is where you must take the following steps. The first step is to identify triggers that keep you outside of this zone. You can do this by taking the free quiz below like 70,000 others, but here's a few things I want to dial in on first. Common triggers of under or overstimulation include caffeine, sleep loss, or brain fog that dulls your mental cognition. Heavy carb meals that cause a spike, then a sudden drop in blood sugar levels, and hormonal dysregulation, which means you don't have the right hormonal balance for focus and flow. If you answer in the negative to the questions in the quiz, it means that you have multiple underlying factors that cause you to become unfocused. It's not just due to a lack of motivation. Goal setting and time scheduling won't fix your problem either. In fact, it's only going to make it worse because you'll start beating yourself up for being unproductive. After you have answers to what's the burning cause of being unfocused and unproductive, it's time to take proactive steps that will get you into the zone. The second step is to apply the triple threat method as I teach in my flagship program, Project Unstoppable. This method includes neuroscience, psychology, and biohacking. But let's start with neuroscience. If you're having trouble focusing right now, it's likely you need to train your brain. Think about a high-stakes project you need to work on. There are two reasons you could be putting it off: a lack of skills or a lack of energy. If it's a lack of skills, you must apply neuroscience to create new neural pathways so you can complete it quickly and efficiently. For this, we use mental rehearsal, where you visualize yourself doing the activity before you do it. This primes your brain for what has to happen next. Without it, it's like driving from New York to LA without a map. But you can imprint a map on your brain to accelerate your focus. But this step isn't as powerful without the second. Your nutrition must be on point. A healthy diet is required to create the right biochemistry to produce dopamine. In this case, dopamine is the most important to you because it's what will get you out of a state of inaction. When you're truly immersed in a task, your prefrontal cortex is awash with dopamine. But if you have low dopamine levels, your ability to focus will be kneecapped. Then, once you've trained your brain to complete key tasks and increased your energy through the right nutrition, you must put a framework into place for a productive day so you can channel your focus into it. But most importantly, maintain it. And here's where you need to listen closely. Maintenance is the key piece that you need to consistently perform at your best. This is where in your daily journal, you take 60 seconds each morning to ask yourself a series of questions based on your biological and psychological experiences, such as caffeine intake, gut health, stress levels, sleep quality, chronic pain, and breathing. This is a simplified version of the questions we have in the online quiz. This piece is a game changer. We found our members that do this daily achieve their goals more often and have less down days. The triple threat method will help you to get into the Goldilocks zone of focus, and the quiz will pinpoint what's really causing you to be unproductive. But your first step is to take the free quiz and join 70,000 other leaders and entrepreneurs on their mission to become unstoppable.